Okay. Hello, everybody. Once again, this is Justin Ponarelli, and we are doing some Roblox Naval Warfare. This time I'm recording audio separately from the recording of the gameplay using a different audio recorder, as opposed to using the screen recorder to record both the gameplay and the audio. So you're not going to hear any gameplay sounds. For example, explosions, bullets flying, people dying, whatever, but you're going to hear my commentary instead through an MP3 recorder. And now what I do is I have both the audio and the visual files separately splashed together using NinjaMotion. So without any further ado, because it looks like we're already into it, in fact, right now we should be if we're synced properly. If I've done my job, we're shooting at a, looks like some kind of cruiser, helping to finish it off. So again, we are USA versus Japan on a team, which is nice. So the difficulty is instead of being able to, interact as I give commentary, I have to give commentary as I watch my interactions. In other words, I'm giving commentary on gameplay while I'm not playing, which is not what I'm used to. So this is a new experience for me. I already had to go through multiple tests to get this to sync up properly, so I couldn't decide if I should start recording the audio first. So you can't start them at the same time. You can't start recording at the same, you can't start recording audio first at the same time as you start playing the video first. So I finally realized, start the video first, then record on the audio. So we're heading towards the enemy base, and basically you want to be careful of anything shooting at you. And I suddenly realized I've walked into a trap. That was the enemy battleship that just shot me to bits. It can shoot like little mini rockets, and it's got powerful cannons, so I did not realize that that thing was sitting in the harbor, because usually by this time the battleship's gone. So, unless it was a new battleship. So basically I had jumped in this game, and we had already captured all 3 islands. And it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, we don't have access to the battleship or the carrier. So what are we doing here? Well, man, oh man, oh man. I just realized something. If I wanted to fly downstairs and grab my pudding for the night for my meds, I can't, unless I just want to let you guys hang for a while without any audio. Anyway, so like I was saying, this is going to be a new editing experience for me, because typically in the past it's been, you've got audio difficulties, and the old phone was fine, just use the screen recorder and it came out fine. Now it's just because I need the sound in this game to help me play the game. So now it's a choice between gameplay sounds or my commentary. Well, I'm picking commentary because I've watched, silent gameplay before without commentary, and I don't like it. I prefer commentary. So here we are. So, anyway, plane flight at me. So my first order of business when I'm in this thing, in my opinion, this is like a destroyer, okay, as we know. This is a destroyer. And the main thing you want to do with the destroyer, in my opinion, is focus on bases, or I should say islands and bases, and the base. Planes, though, being the first order of business, because planes can sneak up on you and destroy you really fast. They can destroy your destroyer really fast. Destroy the destroyer. Anyway, thankfully the enemy base is almost dead already anyway. I'm just going to pop in and finish her off. Now, I'm not going to say that was all me, because there's See the blue planes on the right-hand side? Yep. And GG. Awesome. But again, we really didn't do much work in this game so far, so next game, though, we'll do more work. All right. We also paused the gameplay a couple times, I think, at one point. Not gonna matter though too much, I think. There's our crowd of allies. Got quite a few people on our team. So recall, this game goes quite well actually. But we're starting off with the destroyer. I think I might just continue recording, but I'm gonna pop. Maybe I'll pop down in a few minutes to grab a pudding for my meds later tonight. But I don't want to pause anything because I don't want to desynchronize anything. I'm not really experienced with this yet because I don't normally do this. It's just normally one file, audio and visual, right? Now it's two separate files being kind of put together. Not used to that, so. Anyway, there on the right was the battleship that the game starts you off with. And on the other side of me, which would also be technically my right at this point, would be the or actually no, see right there on the left, there's the carrier. The game starts you off with the carrier and the battleship. Everything else has to be spawned in, and obviously the name of the game, like you've heard before, is Destroy the Enemy Harbor. Which, if you can see it on the opposite side there, there it is on the far side. We're just looking at it. Little red flag, that's the Japanese flag, right? And the other side is our harbor with the American flag above it. And A, B, and C are islands. We just captured Island A. Here's a zoomed out view, apparently. I think I did this because I wanted you guys to see, like, a nice overview of everything. At the same time, I was kind of scouting things out, because I always forget you can zoom in and out really far. Just checking, I think, the chat. No big deal. At least now I can calmly give calm commentary, huh? That's not bad, right? So, usually I would take a plane to Island B immediately, but I wanted to try my luck with going straight away with my destroyer. Because in my opinion, the destroyer in this game is probably the most balanced unit, and it's probably the most easy to operate, even in comparison to, say, the fighters and the bombers. So the fighters are trying to do their job. Their job is to try to help take the island, right? Because we're all, focused on beginning phases of the game. Grab the islands. Here comes a fighter. See ya. I'm relatively good with my rear AA gun. Nice thing with the destroyer is it's mounted on the rear. With the bigger ships, it's mounted in the front, which I think would make sense, and it does, but if an enemy soldier somehow lands on your deck, they can get into your cockpit as you're driving and simply kill you. But with the AA gun being able to be controlled from the rear, pointed right at my cockpit, I can simply fire my gun into my cockpit and kill anyone that comes into my cockpit. Now, it looks like there's a relatively heavy ship parked over there to the right-hand side of the screen. It's a Japanese ship. It might be shooting at me, and I think it was shooting at me. So, abandoned ship, down we go. But we did hit the island a little bit, in my opinion. My opinion is that when your destroyer is your main goal, because you're typically not going to be able to take out more powerful vessels. They will nail you every time almost. But I have had luck before taking on enemy vessels that are heavier than me, but it's not consistent luck. So usually I'm very goal focused. It's usually, if I'm going towards an island, it's, stop incoming enemy vessels, and that's about it. So right now I decided to spawn off the aircraft carrier, hopped into fighter, and well, that was my attempt to refuel and repair, but it didn't work. I think my guy's still alive, though. Yep, I'm still alive. Oh, I remember this part. I'm gonna hop onto the mini missile launcher. This is a zoomed in view, basically very far zoomed in, where you can actually basically see what the rocket sees. So I have it on aiming ability, I have the aim on, which is weird, like my friend pointed out to me. They didn't have this tech back then, probably. You couldn't simply aim and have these guided rockets. I don't think they had it back then in World War II, so this is not exactly era accurate, but that's, you know what, in my opinion, that's fine. It's fun, you know. So at this point, I'm thinking we're taking over the island. There's no point staying on the carrier. I don't think there's any targets in range that I could shoot at, so we weren't parked close enough. As you can see, I can't simply jump off onto the island. Now I could have. I was considering, I think, simply ditching the ship, jumping off. But I had a hunch that they would park us close to the island, and they did. They do. The pilot takes us and parks us closer to the island, so we can jump off onto it if we want to. And I prefer to have my own ship, so... Now the problem is this big behemoth of a carrier is parked right in front of the harbor spawn, so you can't spawn ships unless you want to blow up the carrier. And I'm not the only one who says this, you know. So it's basically carrier, reposition. Oh yeah, that's it. Too close to the harbor. And I'm not the only one on my team that says so, you know, move the carrier because, you know, other people want to get their own ships. I prefer to play a supporting role, not just be a second fiddle on a carrier. And thankfully, the captain of the carrier does get the message and he moves the ship, which is nice. Because if we had tried to spawn a ship at the moment, we would have destroyed the carrier at the cost of getting our own ship. And replacing a carrier with a destroyer is not a good trade-off. And I'm not the only one who wanted to see. The other guy wanted a ship too, and that's, you know, I knew that, you know. So this group's doing great. This team is doing amazing right now. I mean, it's just a very cohesive, beyond amazing, you know, USA team. Again, this is, you know, player versus player. There's no AI involved, okay? So the Japanese players are just simply, you know, humans too. Again, they don't have to be Japanese, obviously. It's just a worldwide server, I think. I've hopped on a lot, and I noticed, you know, it's people that speak Spanish that are playing. The Spanish players, I think, tend to be pretty good. In my opinion, skill plays a really large role in this game, you know. Now, I'm probably skilled enough to actually drive a battleship or a carrier at this point, but I prefer not to because that's a large piece of hardware. In my opinion, if you lose that kind of hardware, I mean, that's a huge loss, especially if you drive it into a bad spot, or it's a huge responsibility. You know, what is it? With great power comes great responsibility. And it's at this point that I realized the game froze. Just notice nothing's moving. Except for me. So we're lagged out at this point. Bullets are frozen in midair to the right-hand side. And that's it. New game. So we're back in, but not the same file. This is a new file, I think. Pretty sure. At this point, we're going to wait a little while to pick up my pudding from downstairs for tonight, but that's okay. I know when to do that. Let me just double check the time. So as I'm recording, it's almost 9 o'clock. Should probably do it now. So I wasn't sure who that guy was. I saw the Jap plane parked there, and there's a soldier over there. I can't tell who he is though, but he's acting suspicious. So I do believe I got him down. I do believe I killed him, but again, not too sure. But anyway. So now we're moving towards Island B. And at this point, I'll let you guys just watch the gameplay. I'm going to go pick up my pudding right now. So you'll just be watching this without audio. Okay, cool. I am back, and because of how, how new this is to me, the recording issues. Anyway, trying to help finish off the enemy carrier. Did not want to try to pause the audio recording because I think I figured out how to synchronize the audio and the video. But I'm thinking if I pause the audio recording, I don't know if I'm going to lose synchronization here. So anyway, but I'm back now. Got my pudding for later tonight. Almost 9 o'clock at night as I do this. Moving towards enemy island B. There comes a heavy bomber, and I don't know if I get him or not. Let me move the little icon here so I can see my screen. That's better. Yeah, okay. So I'm getting them, but they're also hitting me a bit too. I think I picked the wrong time to switch to my main gun, because he finished me just then. So, yeah. Anyway. Now we're sinking. That's okay. Looks like we still have the battleship available, which is nice. Had to do a double take. I'm thinking, is it a female gamer? I mean, that's a rare thing, and not just in my opinion, especially in like a war game, right? I mean, how many female gamers play war games? I don't know. Maybe they do. Let me know in the comments below if you're a female gamer and play war games, or at least if you have a sister or a friend who does. Because I'd be interested to know. I really would be. Here we go, though. Like, you're probably thinking, always the destroyer? Yeah, pretty much. Maybe next time I do this, I will try more variety. Maybe help man a station on a carrier or a battleship. Maybe get into a submarine. Submarine gameplay is kind of boring, though, because most of the time you're just underwater, traveling to the main island, to the harbor, or whatever. And that's about it, realistically. So in case you're not aware, the blue planes are ours, the US planes. The red lettering, C and B, indicates, the red indicates that it's Japanese controlled. White lettering, like the white B, indicates that the island is now neutral. So someone was over there, they neutralized it by shooting at it with enough force to neutralize it. And now it can be taken by any team once again. So basically, Island B is now a free agent. Free real estate. And realistically, at this point, a plane would be the best way to get over there quickly and try to take it. But I did realize when I was playing before that it does seem to help to have a ship nearby with someone on board the ship that knows how to really keep aircraft away. And with my experience, finally, I can be a good assistant in taking the island. Although realistically, I can't get there fast enough to really be a major help, but maybe by the time I get there, if the island's still being contested, I can offer the assistance that the fighter bombers and whatnot need. Okay, I should say the fighters and the bombers happen to need. Okay, but the little bar indicates that it's already being taken by our side, so it might already be under control, which is fine, which is good. So I don't gotta do anything at this point, except just get over there and make sure we're all set. It does look like there's already 2 American ships over there. But if you want to start playing this game too, it's on Roblox. It's called Naval Warfare. And a big part of the game is when you're island hopping, which in my opinion is pretty essential to victory, okay? You want to make sure the islands are supported, not just with planes, but with ships. Because if an enemy ship gets too close, it can cause a lot of damage really fast, and it can neutralize the island. And then you lose access to its harbor, and its anti-aircraft guns, and its, anti-ship gun. So anyway. So most of the time, though, when I pilot my my ships, my destroyer, I fly from the rear. I should say I pilot from the rear. Technically, I'm not actually piloting it from the rear. I'm simply using its rear gun. I've taken over the rear gun. My guy's still in the cockpit in front of the stack. And once again, part of the reason why I do this is because if someone happens to get on my ship, like a Japanese soldier somehow, I can simply shoot at them as they try to walk into my cockpit. They die and I'm still alive. So, and at the same time, you want to be very aware of your surroundings, and this helps. And this is also the only way to shoot down incoming enemy ships, or sorry, planes. And this team is doing really well as well. They're doing really well. I've really had to do anything, so in terms of actual action, this is kind of like, ugh, just mostly just watching at this point. It's kind of like sad. Oh, so now I thought someone was shooting at me, and they were, but it's not hurting me because it's an American plane, and I'm guessing they don't know. Maybe they just didn't see my flag. Because above every ship should be a flag. Now, the planes don't have flags. It's just either blue or white. Okay, so anyway. But we are taking the island. So at this point, I'm just trying to, offer a little bit of cover fire. Not that I can really hit my targets from here, though. Still kind of far away. Now, that does look like that's our battleship, which is somehow miraculously still alive. I probably should have checked to see if I had a captain or not. But I really didn't care, because at this point, in my opinion, if you have the islands, you can win. At this point, usually if no one's, using game passes to buy carriers or battleships, you've already won the game realistically, in my opinion. It's just a matter of press your material advantage, spawn from the islands, spawn quickly, launch, fighters, bombers, ships, you name it, and there you go. Anyway, a couple planes coming towards me, nail a couple planes, nothing major. Some of them are trying to, I don't know. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. Maybe they're just trying to, go after the, anyway, oh, here's a nice one. Got the bomber. Another incoming thing if I, yep, there you go. He's trying to dodge. He's not doing too bad. Gotta give him credit. He did actually really, really well. I think he hit me with at least one bomb. You'd think the fire would, give you continuous damage, but it doesn't. But since I couldn't see, I had to switch to my cockpit view, which simply gives me access to the main gun and nothing else. So at this point, I'm pretty much blind. I can't, shoot anything else. But that's okay. We make do, I think. I think the fire actually does go away if I remember correctly. Let's see, and look at that, see? I switched the gun in the rear, the AA gun, and I use it to shoot the guy who tried to walk into my cockpit to kill me. See that? They're trying to get into my bridge area, the cockpit, I call it, bridge, cockpit. So we're trying to stop them from getting in the cockpit and kill me. At the same time, I'm trying to provide fire support, damage the enemy harbor, which is the main goal. And we're getting them for quite a bit, I think. Now, I imagine there's also planes flying overhead also helping me do damage. But these guys are really, really desperate. Now, if you do happen to play this game, give me your opinion. What do you think is the best ship, plane, or is it the submarine for sneaking up on the enemy harbor and damaging it, or even destroying it? Now, in my opinion, it's not the submarine, because if you notice your health bars going down in the harbor, and you jump onto the harbor, you see nothing nearby, you can simply check real quick for a submarine by just jumping in the water, dying, doing a little spin, and you'll see a submarine if there's a sub nearby. Spawn back in your harbor, you get into the, I think it's like the light cruiser, basically, and you have access to a nice torpedo weapon that can hunt down subs, basically. Granted, not automatically, but, with its homing feature, like that you can like you have like a guided torpedo. It's like ridiculous, and it's powerful too. So anyway, technically it would probably be a wolf pack of submarines. Get a nice wolf pack of submarines, and you could nail the enemy harbor really quickly if no one pays attention. But you also have to, stay underwater the whole time, okay, until you get to the enemy harbor. Kind of avoid the main lanes, between the islands, and you probably would do a lot of damage before you're caught and destroyed. Anyway, new game. Awesome. So your spawn points carry over between games, as long as you don't leave. So at this point, I'm starting to build up spawn points. Not like it matters, because I just use cheap stuff anyway. This is pretty cool. Look at this. This is great. We're moving with the fleet. It looks like the battleship, though, wants to kind of veer towards the right, and I'm trying to figure out why. I'm like, why do you want to go towards Island A, of course. Why would you not want to go there? I'm thinking that's not where you should be going. All you need, guys, is a single plane to land on Island A and take it. No one can get there in time from the enemy team. Don't even bother going there. The fleet should be moving towards Island B, along with the rest of the planes that want to go there to take the island and control the island. Because if you can get to the center, Island B, and control it with your fleet and planes, and if the enemy comes towards you with their fleet and their planes, it's just a matter of which side wins. At that point, if you come out on top, your team's going to win. It's that simple. So I had to go around because I didn't like the idea of being pushed towards Island A. So I decided to get to the back of the fleet and reposition myself, which seemed to work out realistically. This is why you want commentary, because trips like this are boring. It's like, what are you going to do? There's no action to commentary on, to offer commentary on. So hey, guys, I'll probably pick up Interstellar Pilot version 2. I mean, I already have it, but I have to get it updated. I'll try again, and I can probably use the same methodology to commentate as I play. I'm not good enough at the game yet at all to even come close to possibly giving a tutorial on it. So at this point, I'm behind. Guys, you have to realize I was playing Interstellar Pilot for well over a year before I started making videos on it. It was just because of my little brother he was like, hey, you could make videos on this. People would like it. I'm like, oh, you think so? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay, sure. So that's what I did. So anyway, our site already has Island B, which is great. I mean, this team is doing really well. Okay, really, really well. Usually, I'm one of the first people to fly to Island B, but I'll typically get clobbered by an incoming airplane, whether a bomber or just a fighter. I mean, because I'm okay in the air, but I'm not great in the air. And I get very disoriented very quickly in the air because enemy planes will kind of they'll do circles around you. And you can take advantage of this X, both X, Y axis and the Z axis, which you don't have access to the Z axis when you're in a boat. So, I can go, backwards, forwards, left, right, but I can't go up and down. Anyway, I think at this point we curl around and nail the ship right there, because the planes have got this under control, minus that ship being a possible exception, so that's done. Made short work with the main cannon. At this point, I think I might go after there's a couple targets. So I think I considered going after this enemy submarine. I'm like, no, maybe not. But that guy out there, yeah, I remember now. This is my target. Now, I probably should have linked up with our own carrier and helped him out, but I didn't. Instead, I decided to go on like a suicide run, basically. So, it's a heavily armed ship. It has like a rocket. It's got a main deck cannon. It can launch its planes. It can bomb you to smithereens. But once you're in this position, you're doing really well. You really are. So, I've shot him quite a few times already. Got behind him, and I was getting really hopeful, but didn't quite get him. But that's okay because someone else probably did get him. That's the cool thing. We still have our carrier and our battleship, not cruiser. Got the battleship still and the carrier. We're doing really well still. And we probably already nailed the enemy carrier that I was just fighting. Destroyer again. Guys. It costs like 4 spawn points. You start with 10, you tell me. Okay. And you can easily man this thing with one person. Just the pilot can switch between controlling the front cannon and the rear AA gun, which you can see me swiveling around now. Okay. And you can easily zoom in and out and see the entire battlefield, basically. And if no one pays attention to your little ship, you can actually do a lot of damage. Believe it or not. Maybe not as quickly as the battleship, or even as much damage as the carrier can pump out once it starts launching planes, but you can do your fair share and basically help out your entire team very easily. And even if your main goal is just seek out the islands and neutralize them and help take them, then do that. And that's what I typically do as the destroyer. I go from island to island, assisting, neutralizing them if need be, and helping to take them, which means providing a lot of anti-air support. Okay. And once you get the hang of the rear, anti-aircraft gun, you can do pretty good. Now that, for example, probably was not me, but it doesn't hurt to try. Okay. So at this point, we're already shooting at the enemy battleships right there, but it's sitting near their harbor, their base getting repaired. So my objective first is neutralize the base. Now we can go after their ship. Now it's vulnerable. Because if it's still near the island, it can be repaired. So knock out the enemy base, the enemy island first. Then go after anything else around it. Typically, that's how I think it works better that way anyway. Okay. And now we have solid control of the enemy island. Okay, solid control. This is like overwhelming control. Look, we still have the battleship and the carrier. And now the carrier's doing some kind of weird voodoo. It's flying in the air. Don't ask me how, I don't know. And typically when I get to an island on my destroyer, I just kind of do circles. Until I figure out what to do, But typically I start circling in order to keep, enemy aircraft away. And you want to keep moving so you don't provide, an easy sitting duck type of target for the enemy. And at this point I figured out, well, Island C is secure. Let's go attack the base. Plenty of planes to target. Plenty of planes. In fact, this one apparently decided I'm a threat and decided to go flying at me. Guys, if you play naval warfare on Roblox, do not attack destroyers from the rear. That's where the gun is. You want to get low and attack them from the front. Okay? Get low, attack from the front. Oh, what? They have a cannon in the front. The cannon's not going to get you. It's a cannon. It's meant for attacking ships. Now, somehow, though, they got on my deck, and I got shot. No big deal. I'm cool with that. Really. It's okay. Skill for person. I don't know. Hey, that happens, right? You're skilled. Good job. You got on a deck. Now what? Now you got to jump into the water, too. That's how it works. So anyway, I could have hopped on my ally's ship, but I'm like, no, I don't want to. Give me my destroyer. So we spawn another destroyer, and away we go. Got hit. There's got to be planes flying overhead somehow, somewhere. I don't know. I didn't really bother to check. I didn't care too much at this point. We're doing so well, there's got to be someone to take care of it. So I kind of swung around to get repaired. There was an enemy submarine, but it looks like it got taken care of by one of our subs, which is nice. Found the enemy plane that was shooting at me. A little too late, in my opinion. So basically, the ships have auto move. Once you've been pressing forward for, quite some time, the ships will move on their own. Okay, see, look at the top where it says auto move. Okay, there you go. Yeah, so, but if you press like the reverse button, or I think even if you press forward again, it might disrupt auto move. So we'll call this a false start, basically. So just sit near the island, get repaired. Now, if you're at the harbor, repairs are basically instantaneous. If you're near an island, the repairs are not as quick. But it's relatively quick if you're in a destroyer, so done repairing. Let's get back to work, right? It's the general idea here. So at this point, if you ask my opinion, the enemy's in quite a pinch, Well, there's a sub. Here we go. Check it out. I think we get this one. Got him. He's gone. This one might be the one that gets away from me. I don't know. Or maybe one of our allies gets it. And I think this is where I realize there's way too many enemy ships in the water still to try something going after the enemy base. So there's enough ships so that they could probably put up a fight and try retaking Island C. You don't want them to do that, so keep them busy, okay? Let your allies come in and help out, and, hey. So for some reason, I'm not getting a lot of attention for some reason. I'm getting shot at, but not a lot, which is kind of weird. So fortunately, my front turret can rotate a lot. It's weird, but it makes no sense. I mean, you're quite literally shooting, I think, through your own ship, but that's okay. So finally, I was given the attention I deserve, and I was shot and blown up. Hey, seriously, right? I'm worth the attention, people. I really am worth the attention in this game. I am. And yeah, you want to kind of go after the big capital ships first, like the aircraft carrier. Oh, what happened there? Okay, so I think my stepdad needed some help because he has he's been having seizures now too. Whole different story. Anyway, doesn't matter. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. I'm not going to explain it. Is the point. So I came back, and this may or may not have been the same file. I don't know. But it looked very similar. We had all the islands still. So I'm assuming... I don't know. I'm not sure what to assume here. Not sure what to assume. But at this point, I did not want to waste any spawn points, because we were so close to winning that we probably could have won at any moment, and we do, so we just won right now. Okay, so again, if you don't know who's winning and losing, look at the top. There's a time control that says 79:12. That's the time. That's the timer. The game's on a timer, but it's a big timer. Okay, and then there's a health bar on the right and the left. See the little flags? And there you go. And that's the harbor health. Once the harbor health is at 0, someone has won and someone has lost. It's the simplest way to put it. So, a couple options when you start off. You can teleport to the harbor, or the carrier, or the battleship. Oh, finally using a plane. There you go. Finally getting into something that's not the destroyer. There you go. Now, the islands can be in relatively random positions, Island A is always closest to the US harbor. Island C is always closest to the Japanese harbor. And Island B is somewhere usually in the middle. So why don't I not stop at Island A? Because anyone can pick it up. I want to kind of be like the trendsetter, the leader, and say, hey, follow my lead and go here. Go to Island B. Because if you can take and hold Island B, you've already established an advantage. But as I recall, this does not go very well because other people have the same idea too. And I'm not the only one. So, yeah. In fact, as I recall, this goes very, very poorly. I should have started by just scouting the skies first, but I'm like, nah, I'll be okay. Someone will come behind me and help me and cover me. Nope, too late. They shot me before I could get back into the cockpit of my own fighter, and that was not. Yeah, that's disappointing. Decided to spawn onto the carrier. That's a little different for me. I don't typically do that, but I don't think Island A was an option yet, so I'm like, well, we'll do this first. But now that the island's an option, I'm like, well, let's hop into the water and take a swim, because I'd rather get onto the island. Because I don't always agree where people that pilot these huge ships take them. It's like, guys, in my opinion, you want to go island hopping, okay? From island to island to island to harbor. And sometimes they don't do it. And for some reason, it's like, why are you going to Island A first? There's no reason to. Go to Island B. That's where the action is. So anyway, now we're in a heavy bomber. And I don't know how this goes. I forget how this goes. Heavy bombers have decent health, actually. 300 compared to, like, I think the 100 that the fighters have. So anyway, let's just see. I think the concept, in my opinion, was go kill the Japanese guys on the ground here, because yeah, that was the idea. Unfortunately, looks like the game was lagging and I probably got shot, but somehow initially survived for a couple seconds before getting shot by the Japanese plane that's circling the island. Correction, Japanese planes, plural. So island topping was not going well. So yeah, what's the plan now? A destroyer. I think it is. Let's double check. Let's find out. I don't want to assume here. Heavy cruiser. I don't normally do this, but I had the points, and I'm thinking, let's give the viewers something a little different. Let's show them what I can do behind the wheel of a heavy cruiser. Now, guys, in my opinion, the heavy cruiser needs crew. You can't just pilot it on your own. This thing is a gigantic, slow, sitting duck. What's it good for? Well, it's got good firepower. It's not very good at killing planes, though, because it's so big. I mean, it does have 2 anti-aircraft turrets, and if it was properly manned, it would be fine, but I'm just by myself. I don't like taking the time to say, hey, I need crew with this. Guys, like, everyone needs crew, right? There's plenty of big ships in this game that need crew. There's the carrier, there's the battleship. Islands need crew. Okay, they need to be manned and protected. There's anti-aircraft turrets on all the islands. There's anti-ship turrets. You know, everything needs crew, you know? So in my opinion, the destroyer is so good because it's just, anyone can easily man it by themselves and be pretty efficient at it. But this thing, no. So every ship, though, has guns that can be manned automatically from the driver's seat. In this case, I think it's just the 2 front guns. Okay. There's an AA gun in the front, and a turret in the front as well. There's also an This is a submarine, anti-submarine torpedo, but it has to be manned from a separate station. So at this point, my ship's no longer moving. Okay, and that was my target. So I think I almost got the enemy submarine, but I wasn't close enough. Not in range. So the anti-submarine torpedoes do not have infinite range. That is the problem there with those things. So you kind of have to get closer. Not sure what that was. Maybe just another torpedo going in the water. Got Island B though, which was nice. So got my big butt in the water. Again, that's the torpedo station. It's a great way to, it's the only way, correction. The only realistic way to, attack an enemy submarine. But if you're in a sub, and if you attack a large enemy ship, as long as no one's at the torpedo station, you will probably get the enemy ship down. You just have to make sure you attack from the rear, because most of the time, if it's just a pilot on a ship, they can only, use certain guns. Like on this one, I can only use the front AA turret and the front gun. I cannot use the rear guns from the pilot seat. Nor can I use the anti-submarine torpedo unless I switch seats. So without crew, this is very inefficient. This is a very inefficient vessel. Okay. And I just decided to land the torpedo in the water because I'm not gonna be able to do anything at this point, at this range. Now, right to the right, the Allied ship going down. Because let's face facts here. We're getting close to an enemy island. It's being very well defended, and now I'm very vulnerable. Now, I just got bombed, I think, or shot, or both. At this point, I'm taking heavy damage. I'm walking into a trap and ambush. I think that's actually the enemy battleship right there, in fact. I can't be sure, though, because I can't see properly. So anyway, as I record the audio, I'm actually watching the video playback. So there's an enemy sub that just got destroyed, which was nice. That was actually one of my targets. Thankfully, someone got it for me. I'm thinking at least the sub went down. Well, that's good. Subs, depending on the skill of the pilot, or I should say captain, can be amazing. Okay, but if you suck at being a submarine captain, then try a destroyer. If you want to play this game, try the destroyer. Try a fighter craft. Learn those first. Go from there, okay? So you could argue I'm still learning this game, and I really still am, but, in a lot of ways I've already formed my opinions, And my opinion really is that as long as you're decent with an anti-aircraft gun, try a destroyer. Learn to pilot from the rear, like this. Okay? So I can still get a good field of view. That's the whole point. What you want is you want a large field of view with an anti-aircraft gun, and you can get it like this. See that? Look at this. I can see everywhere. There's no place I can't see right now. So anyway, I think it was time to assist and start attacking the, what I'm pretty sure is the battleship. But again, I can't tell because I can't quite see. No, it might not be. I don't see an anti-aircraft station on it. Or no, I'm sorry, there should be... I can't tell. On the actual battleships, there's these little cabins that you can launch, like little rockets from, little guided rockets. So now at this point, it's just the two islands and the harbor. battleship and carrier are gone. And I'm guessing that also the enemy carrier and the enemy battleships are gone too, I'm guessing. But in my opinion, that's good because it encourages people to get behind, get into the bridge, the bridge of other smaller vessels and just strengthen numbers. In my opinion, multiple smaller ships are better than just two large vessels. But that's my opinion. But hey, I could be wrong, whatever. Hey, But if you've ever played this game, let me down below in the comments what you think. Would it be best to just have fully manned capital ships like the battleship and the carrier, or would it be best to instead invest your manpower in a whole fleet of smaller ships and planes? Okay, personally, I think it's strength in numbers. Use smaller vessels. Not a big deal. Okay. It might even look more threatening. What's scary, right? These two huge ships that can be very vulnerable under the right circumstances, or a whole fleet, smaller vessels and planes just rushing you. Think about it. Think about it. So here's Island C. At this point, we are close enough, and we already won. Okay. I don't know what happened, though. I think someone must have, snuck up on the enemy base and just destroyed them. I don't know how or when, or, hey. But that's okay, and I think that might actually be our video right there. Yeah, that's our video right there. So guys, do hope you enjoyed. As always, if you didn't, go ahead and leave a big fat thumbs down and let me know why. I will strive to make improvements. Okay, I really, really, really will. Let's watch this first. Then I can pause the video. I think. Oh no, yeah. I'm all confused. Anyway, destroyers are good ships, easy to handle, and fair firepower. Yeah, because someone comments and they say, how old do you feel? No, guys, rewind a little bit. Someone made a comment about a destroyer destroying their harbor. So apparently, a destroyer had snuck up on their harbor and destroyed it. So I wanted to point out that yeah, destroyers are awesome. Fair firepower, easy to handle, especially for their spawn point count or cost. So I'm not sure how this is going to work, because the audio is going to run longer than the video, unfortunately. But I got to do my outro. Victory celebration, fire off a few rounds, and apparently that's the end of the recording in 3, 2, and that's it. But I still have the audio, so we'll make do. Maybe we'll put up a pretty picture for a while. I don't know. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay, so but anyway, guys, that's my opinion. Destroyers are awesome, so give it a try. Roblox Naval Warfare. You'll like it, and if you don't, well, I'm sorry. Led you wrong, right? Again, though, didn't like it, leave a big fat thumbs down below in the comments, or down below, and tell me in the comments why, and I will strive to make improvements to how I, deliver videos. Is it too long? Too short? Too boring? Too dry? Would you prefer just the sound effects and me trying to struggle to... would you prefer the sound effects and me just kind of splashing text on the screen? Or does this work for you, So I wanted to try it this way. Okay, so we'll see what happens, all right? Beyond that, as always, questions, comments, and polite constructive criticism down below. And if you're not able to provide polite feedback, and if you're rude, I'm going to X-nay your comment faster than you can say Biden. Okay. Or Potato Man. How's that? You like Potato Man? Or Brandon? I will kill your comment faster than you can say, let's go, Brandon. But seriously, okay. I know that's my my political side sneaking out of my body right now. I'm sorry, guys. You guys see the results of the election, the midterm election? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a Democrat, but I'm not a Republican either. In the last election, I actually went Libertarian, and in typically elections before that, I would vote for the Conservative Party candidates. This time I did not vote because, well, I was having some pretty tough pre-seizure symptoms and I could not risk moving, so I just stayed in bed. I could have voted earlier, but I kind of forgot. I know I probably should not have forgotten. It should have been more of a priority, but again, I live in New York, and it's probably impossible for a Republican candidate to take the election. You know, it's not going to happen. Okay, in New York, Republicans don't win. that's all there is to it. They don't win. Anyway, so yeah, hope you enjoyed. You know, if not, I'm sorry. Thanks for watching. If you've gotten to this point, you're amazing. Appreciate the view. Would appreciate a comment more. You know, hey. Hope you enjoyed the gameplay. I know it wasn't as cohesive this time as it should have been or could have been, but anyway, stuff came up. Including the game freezing, my mom needing help with my stepdad because of his seizure activity that's been popping up because of different various medical reasons. And here we are. Trying something new. Separate video playback, separate audio playback, or files, I should say files, separate audio and video files. And I'm going to splash them together, and I hope you guys enjoy the results. Thanks for watching, and see ya. Take care. Good night.